Okay, hey, DCAD 15, you are first. You win the award. All right, people, look, first of all, can you hear me okay? Sometimes I have an issue with this. Anyway, let's get moving here. I think everything is okay. So this is my lovely, of course, midday report, and we'll cover what's going on here. Let's start off with this. Commodities right now are under pressure. Okay, whatever. There's a lot of concern about demand. Imagine my shock. Imagine your shock here. What did we just find out? What do we continue to find out every single day without fail? Well, let's see. The consumer is pretty much done. They maxed out their credit cards and every freaking thing else, and they're unfortunately facing a situation where, by their own admission, okay, inflation continues to freaking rise. You can't imagine how shocked I am. Can I please see your shocked face? Oh no, really? No. That's just the way it's going to go here. So we got consumer spending continuing to fall off a cliff. We got an economy that's slowing down. Meanwhile, consumers are carrying more debt on their freaking backs than they ever have in history. But I can promise you this: by this time next week, well, we're going to have more debt on their back. Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that. That's the truth, people. Look, you and I, it is a beautiful Friday. We got this down. We know what we're doing. We know why we're doing it. We're not going to stop what we're doing. We're not going to deviate from our plan, begging against the debt, becoming our own central bank here. Period. Look, yeah, unless you like have less than one functioning brain cell. I know everyone here has a whole bunch of functioning brain cells here. They're not going to stop inflating. We got that little hint today. What was it? Former Fed President Richards freak over there. Oh yeah, there's a lot more paper going to be issued. Government's going to issue more paper. Paper. Oh, duh. What is he saying? They're going to inflate. We covered this morning. It's pretty insane. I'll tell you what's even more insane, and I'll talk more about this later in my post-market wrap-up. So we got this Fed meeting coming up. It's going to be lovely, of course. I've been explaining to people, all of you have probably heard me say that the Fed's going to start easing back. Central banks are going to start easing back here, despite the fact that inflation continues to rise, because they're going to continue to inflate. But what I'm talking about is with their aggressive stance on rate hikes. So we're going to see in my view, and I said this recently here, we're probably going to get a 25 basis point hike come next month. Maybe another one. Then we're going to get a pause or something. And the markets, look at what's happening here. Okay, you and I way ahead of the curve by watching the fakery, should I say, Howard? Wow, thank you. In the debt market here with regard to maintaining the illusion of stability, the weaker dollar. What's this market doing? Higher, higher, higher. That's where it's going to go. It's going to get more distorted. Is anything real? No, there's nothing real here. Nothing makes sense anymore. At all. That's just the way it is. And I think we're all pretty much clear on that. Anyway, what else? What else do you want to talk about? How about this one? And I'm going to touch more on this later. How many of you out here remember? I'm laughing. I'm going to laugh. I always do this. The labor shortage fake narrative. Thank you, King. Anyway, there's a labor shortage. Labor shortage. Now all of a sudden, not so much, as tens of thousands of people are being laid off. And I can promise you, people, look, there's a couple of themes here for 23 I've touched on a little bit. Number one, I think we're going to see massive collective currency devaluation. Central banks are determined to accelerate this moving forward as they print more paper and add digits to a screen. They don't even need paper. Okay, that's the way it's going to go. Number two, we're going to see more pressure on the consumer, more unfortunately slaves to the system. There's just no doubt about it here, and a lot more layoffs. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands every single month, and of course they're going to tell you that the polar opposite is actually happening. You have to understand, and I know that more than likely most of you here don't follow the nonsense that's put out by the propaganda ministry. I mean, it's all fake. And I think you would have to agree, not just the data, but when they're telling you something and it just kind of doesn't hit you the right way. Look, people are intuitive. I really believe that they are. When people hear something that they know is to be true, all of a sudden a light bulb goes off in their head. When people hear something that, their intuition is saying this isn't right, they know it. They know it. It hits you the wrong way. Just as an example, recently I was trying to buy this 68 Hemi Dodge Dart recently. I'm a big car guy, you all know that. And I'm talking to this guy, we're trying to work out a deal, and then we actually came to a deal. And then I don't know what it was. Something just hit me the wrong way. I was like, you know what? This is not a guy that I want to do business with. So deal didn't go through. You got to listen to your gut in life, in whatever endeavor you may be entering in or not entering into. You need to listen to yourself, listen to your heart. What is it saying to you? If you don't feel right about something, there's a reason for it. You understand? So listen to yourself, and no matter what you do in life, just pay attention to that little voice in your head, and I think you'll be better off. Thank you, George. You people are amazing today. All right, look, now with that said, I don't want these to run too freaking long. Let's talk. Let's get to know each other a little bit better. And let's talk about whatever you want to. Love you guys back. Look at that checkered flag. I love it. I love it. I'm going racing today. How about that? I got my car outside, my 69 Camaro on the trailer, ready to go. I got my tools. I got my creeper, my freaking jack stands, my jack, everything I need in case the brakes over there. Look, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. You kidding me? I rebuilt that whole damn car myself. Proud of that. I'm very proud of that. Anyway, so what I'm hoping, all right, I'm going to let you guys in on a secret here. Last time I ran the car, I broke the engine. I broke the motor. I bent some push rods by over revving it. Thank you, Billy Bob. And I had to redo the valve train. I put better push rods in it. I increased the rock arm ratio from 1.6 to 1.65. I was tweaked the carburetors a little bit for those gear heads out here. I increased the accelerator pump capacity to 50 cc's. I have 2 Holley 4 barrels on that engine in there. And I'm hoping today. So like I said, I fixed it. I doctored it up. I ran an 1102. And now upgrading the valve train and the carburetors, I'm hoping today I can get this thing into the 10s. And then I'm going to swap out the headers. I got a set of big tube tuned headers that are going in. And unfortunately, the headers I got in the car, I ordered the wrong ones. And I got them in there. I mean, they work, but they're not the ones actually for the car. No nitrous and no turbo. It's naturally aspirated. It's a small block Chevy, tunnel ram. It's a 389 cubic inches. It runs well. It runs really well. Anyway, so you're restoring a 53 Dodge pickup. Very, very nice. I love this stuff. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that too. Anyway, let's here using this opportunity to just short. Look, there's nothing wrong with greed and fear. If you understand those drivers of the market, you can take advantage of that. And speaking of that, for those of you that do subscribe to my free newsletter, I put it out. I put out the key components to my new trading system, and I've been dabbling in this. It's pretty good. I got one more little key to this I'm working out right now, and we'll see. 3,000 horsepower. Need to get 3,000 horsepower. Yeah, man. That sounds that sounds right to me. Emanon, absolutely. Make a difference in this world. That's what Emanon is all about. People ask me about this hat back here. Doing something positive every single day, just one damn thing, and we can change the freaking world, people. What about buying put options when the market meltdown happens? Absolutely. You could do that, and but you can't just randomly go out here and buy calls and or puts. You got to have an idea of the dynamics in play, what's going on, and when we should take advantage of this. And that's, look, I was a big time day trader for many, many, many years. And it just got too much for me. The swings in the bankroll can be pretty extreme. I've come out with a couple of different trading systems. This new one is very, very promising. It's an intraday system, and I like it. You just zip in and out of trades here and there. If you can do, here's the thing. Look, let's talk about trading a little bit more. Just a little bit. Don't be greedy. Okay. If you can make 10%, just think about what I'm telling you. If you can make 10% on every trade you make, uh, I think you're doing pretty damn freaking good. And there's a lot of people that kick themselves in the rear end because they say, oh, well, if I would have stayed in, I would have made 20, 30, 40, 50, 100%. Yeah, sure. It's all great and fantastic. You gotta set parameters for yourself with regard to, if you are going to dabble in intraday trading, be happy with 10%. In fact, that should be your goal. 15%. You want to go crazy, 20%. But if you're putting 10, if you could make 10, let's say you got, let's just throw a number out here. Let's say you got $5,000 that you're going to put into a single trade. If you can make $500 a day, that would be 10% trading one trade. It's pretty damn freaking good. I mean, do the math, okay? This is absolutely within the realm of possibility. But if you end up letting greed take over, you're done. I'll tell you something else that will help you trade. I know this is going to sound kind of maybe out there, but it's the truth. Every time you have a successful trade, every time you do, take a tiny percentage of that trade and donate it to a charity that you believe in. You pay it forward. You pay it forward, okay? I think that's the way this whole world should operate. Anyway, enough of that trading stuff here. Let's make it, but making no, it isn't impossible at all. It's not impossible at all. As a matter of fact, I've been using this little day trading thing. About 80% of my trades have been successful, and I'm pulling out at like 10%. That's pretty damn freaking good. Look, I don't have that many trades in here. I need a longer amount to trade here. And I still don't have all the kinks worked out, but I will let it out there. What's my favorite new car? You know what? I really like this E-Ray Vet that they're coming out with. It's kind of a hybrid. It's super fast. I've been actually contemplating if I'm going to buy one, but well, I'll let you all know if I do. I love Memphis, Tennessee too. God, you guys are just so great, honestly. Anyway, how much does Dixie affect this? Huge. How does the dollar? This is a good question. How does the dollar index affect the stock market? As you all know, if you've been following my work for any length of time, the MMRI, the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, uses three metrics, two and a little equation that kind of makes it all work together. One is the Dixie, or the relative strength of the dollar. The second indicator or part that I use, element, is the 10-year yield, which is the benchmark. And the third is a little equation using the golden ratio. Okay. Golden ratio is everywhere. Why should it be in the MMRI? And if you have been following it, it works. Period. Now, a weaker dollar is bullish for the stock market. It's bad for the consumer, of course, here. And we're talking about on a relative strength basis. Okay. When we are relative, meaning comparing the dollar to other currencies, and they're all in a race to the bottom. You all know that. The dollar at this point still remains the prettiest belle at the ball. Vintage musical instruments, love them. Absolutely. I have a couple laying around here as well. Anyway, the new system. No, you can use it on anything. I set it up on Thinkorswim, and if you go to the newsletter I set out, all the parameters in there, you can set those up on any charting system. It should be relatively straightforward. And the Fed, and the freaking Fed. People, if we could get rid of this criminal organization, this is public enemy number freaking one. It's not me. It's not you. What do? The divide and conquer mechanism. It's the central banks. These institutions are a curse. They're a curse on this freaking world. If we could collectively get rid of these things, they're just too strong right now. They've become the most powerful entities on the planet. They run it all. The economy, the financial system, the markets, everything. I don't know another way to put it, honestly, seriously. PSLV, absolutely. It's very volatile, very volatile. You can do this. My trading system that I came up with, you can use it for anything. You would have to change the ticks if you have it already. It's not in time. It's using wrinkle bars, which work in ticks as opposed to time. You would have to adjust those ticks, and it ain't easy. Let me tell you something. It ain't easy to find the right ticks, but you could use that system in anything. Yeah, it would take a divine miracle to bring down central banks. It's really the truth. Thoughts on Lockheed? People, if this war expands over there, what do you expect is going to happen? Defense contractors, they're definitely going to be the place to be. But but look, there is definitely a moral question there, and I understand. Believe me, I've taken heat on both sides with this. If you, this whole thing is twisted. It doesn't make sense. But if you're someone here who can completely put aside the moral question, that is, do you want to be invested in defense stocks? I think most actual real traders and investors could put that to the side. I'll be honest with you. Me, I have a problem with that. I really do. But then again, it plays into everything else anyway. I mean, if you're putting money in the market to work in anything, what are you doing really here? You're trying to weaponize the system against those that are using it against you. I understand that. You gotta put your money to work in things that that allow you to sleep at night. That's really the truth. So there are such a thing as a trader or an investor that has a moral compass to a certain degree. All of it, the whole thing. Look, even if you transact in fiat notes, okay, you're supporting their system. So it's all part of the same hypocrisy. So whether you want to invest in a defense contractor or not, but you're still transacting in central bank issued notes, it's really the same thing in many, many ways. It's the beast system. And I wish sincerely that we were able to sidestep that system. It's a terrible thing. It's a curse upon the earth. You all know that. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Thoughts on gambling? Poker isn't really gambling. Gambling, I don't like gambling. No, it's a rigged game. It's all rigged against you. Unless you're going to be counting cards here, don't do that. You get yourself in trouble out here in Las Vegas. Happened to me. I was a major card counter for years. Not hard to do. Anyone can do it. You just got to know how to a little plus and minus system. You got to do a little division here, understanding how many decks are in play. You keep a running count. You divide the running count by well, there's a whole bunch of tricks to this, but I kind of forgot actually. I haven't done it in so many years. But yeah, you can beat the game of blackjack. Is what I'm referring to. But once you get good enough, they won't let you play. Poker is a whole other instrument, a whole other freaking thing. Anyway, I do think about that every time I do sit there and I stage my race car. Is something going to happen? I broke it recently. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Anyway. All right, look, this is getting kind of long, so let's wrap this up a little bit here, people. I really like doing these things, and I hope you like them too. This is more of like a social forum in a lot of ways for all of us. I get to talk about a lot of things, and I love the questions here. Yeah, keep dragging. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Nothing else matters. Well, that's not really true. You all matter. And all this stuff matters here. But I tell you something, I've been addicted to drag racing since I was a kid. I started street racing before I had a license. My dad had a 69 Camaro parked in the garage with a 454 and a 4-speed. And when he would go to work, I would sneak the damn thing out. I learned how to drive a stick in that car on my own because I was afraid to tell him I was taking the car out. He might have known. But then even when he knew, my parents knew, they didn't care. They let me go out there. I was out there racing this damn thing. I've always lived my life kind of on the edge a little bit here. Honestly, I've always been a risk taker, honestly, and can get you into some trouble, honestly. But my thing is, I like to know how and why things work. As an example, when I was a kid, when I was a little kid, I got into my dad's toolbox, and I used to take everything apart around the freaking house. All my mom's freaking cleaning machines and the vacuum would be in pieces all over the place, but I'd put it back together again. And I'll tell you something, with that 69 Camaro that was my dad's, just real quick, kind of an interesting piece of Greg Mannarino news. So I wanted to find out what made that car work. I had no idea. So one day my dad went to work. Me and my buddy Joey pulled that motor out and we took it apart, completely apart. Crank over here, pistons and rods over there, cam over there, everything. And I wanted to see the pieces in that engine to see what made it work. So my dad comes home later that day from work. I'm sitting there with Joey. I'm thinking I'm going to get destroyed. I'm just grounded for freaking life. I was like 16. So my dad looks at me and says, "Okay, Greg, Now put it back together. That's all he said in a really calm voice. And not only did I do that, but I did it and made it better. I went out and I bought every book I can possibly find. What makes an engine work? How to hot rod big block Chevys, the freaking Bible of big block Chevys. I could probably recite it backwards. I read it so many times when I was a kid, and it helped me learn about these things. But that's what we got to do in life, people. And in life, in anything you do, you got to really immerse yourself in it. I always tell people, in order to become successful in anything, I don't care what you do in life. I don't care if you dig ditches or whatever it might be. You want to be the best at it, right? You got to immerse yourself in it. You got to become that thing. It's the truth. And anyway, I think that's a little piece of information that's kind of an engineer. I was going to be an engineer. Initially, when I went to school for electromechanical engineering. I thought this would be great, but honestly, didn't work out for me. So I ended up, as you know, studied medicine, did that for 20 freaking years. I don't regret getting out of it. I did like it when I was in it. I love taking care of people. It made me feel good. I would, if I could leave the day at work at the end of the day, hang up my stethoscope and my lab coat and say, you know what? I did a good job. I did a good thing today. I helped people. It made me feel good about myself. And it made me want to go the extra mile for people that I take care of. I do miss that to a certain degree. I enjoyed having that trust that people put in you. When you walk into that room and you see a person there that needs help, whatever it might be, they got the sniffles or they got something serious like a freaking heart attack, which is what I loved. I loved the hardcore stuff. I honestly didn't like treating the colds and the coughs and I sprained my ankle thing. I was like a hardcore guy. It's the truth. And I loved it. I used to get off on it. 70 GTX 446 pack. You have one of these? I want it. Please. I'll buy that from you. Anyway, what else, people? What else can I tell you? 71 Chevelle, great car. Absolutely. Um, Look, Matthew, thank you for that, people. Honestly, any guitars besides the SG, a Les Paul, which I got rid of, a couple of old Stratocasters. I got an old ESP sitting back there, which I actually won in a poker game. I won a poker game. I used to play a lot of poker when I moved out here to Vegas. Started playing in Atlantic City. Learned a lot of the tricks through a friend of mine. His name was Mark at the time, fantastic poker player. Then my buddy JP, who's probably watching this right now, is got to be probably one of the best poker players I've ever seen. He's phenomenal in tournaments. He has a lot of cashes under his belt, even World Series of Poker stuff, and it's pretty damn cool. Any thoughts on the Fed meeting? Absolutely. I think they're going to start cutting back people. I really, really do. You want your '59 Buick back? I don't blame you. Why don't you go buy one, please? Texas Hold'em, no limit. That's my game. That's my game. All right, people, if you believe this video is 23 freaking minutes long here, I could sit here all day long. Anyway, people, I'm going to get going. This has been fantastic, and we're going to do this every business day, Monday through Friday. I'll squeeze this in here. Thank you, all of you. Marshall amps, absolutely. Love Marshalls. I will see all of you with this live stream come Monday, as you all know, but you're going to see me later in a couple of hours. We'll sum this whole thing up at the end of the day. And don't forget how we're going to end it. You remember, love each other, care about each other, be charitable. We're going to end every Friday, as we always do, the same way. And I'm going to ask you to bring it in because, believe it or not, I can see you. I can see all of you. All right, look, I am totally out of here. Again, thank all of you so much from the heart for being here. And, well, I'll see you later.